Good afternoon. I'm glad you're back. Um, and I have a topic to discuss. I'll try to keep it succinct and concise and be candid, but that's not necessarily my skill set right now, so I'm working on that. But is this ideal or ideology of a culture that we're in? I spent some time living overseas, living in what might be classified as the Far East or the Eastern Hemisphere. So in Asia, people who have never been to America, which is the majority of them, have a perception that America is very, very open. Or not just America, the West. The West stands for anything that classifies or constitutes a country that is maybe on the Western Hemisphere, but they're not speaking of South America when they mean the West. They're talking about countries that are New World countries, countries that were colonized, are populated by white people mostly. So they mean America, Canada, Australia, the UK, things of this nature. So when you speak to men and women, girls and boys, and they have, or they give their input on what culture is like, dating is like, relationships in America, they presume that it's very fast-paced, very liberal. Liberal is a word that I'll put in quotation marks because I still don't know what that means, but very, very progressive, non-traditional, non-conventional. People are evidently have more of an hedonistic agenda in America than other places. It's not that they don't have sex in India, it's more so it's a bit more traditional on how you would go about having sex or dating or interacting with others. It's not that they don't have sex in China. There's a billion people there, so they definitely do. It's more about their whole conventions and parameters as to how people interface and date leading up to any type of physical intercourse or sexual intercourse. I still don't know what that means, but as far as the engagement process, that's what's different. But speaking to them, they believe that the average person in America is very out there. I think that's not do I think that, a lot of them do believe this way, and it's a falsehood, it's a lie, it's not true. I've spent a good deal of time in what would be classified as night spots, or places that you go at night, or you know, bars, clubs, nightclubs, strip clubs, anything dealing with a club, anything dealing with, you know, people drinking and interacting. A lot of places that if you are a quote-unquote brought up being a good person or a religious person or a traditional person, these aren't necessarily places that you would want to be. These aren't necessarily areas that you would frequent often, so to speak, if you are trying to fit into these boxes. And we're all about boxes here in the States. We need to compartmentalize your personality traits so we can generalize what your behaviors are, what your behavioral patterns will be, because it's like, oh, so you're this person, so you'll do this. Oh, you're from this area and you're this person, so then you'll do this. That's why we have boxes that we check off, like white person, black person, what's in the middle? I presume yellow person, brown person, religious person, non-religious person, feminist person, I presume a non-feminist person. Like we have to have these parameters so we can know, oh, so if you're this, then I would associate these behaviors with you. And that's a falsehood, of course, and that's really ignorant, and that's really sad, and it's really discouraging and disenchanting to find individuals who go to high-priced universities, upwards of $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a semester, to be indoctrinated with these ideologies, and they adopt these and they live a life that are only to only to follow within these narrow confines of what this projected ideology is to them. And they can kind of be swayed very much so, and it doesn't allow for growth or independent thinking, in which we are supposed to be. We are human beings and we think for ourselves, and those are great minds think, you know, for themselves, not alike. I remember that TV show as a kid with, you know, the genie from Aladdin. But be that as it may, the falsehood is that, you know, we have this open culture, and for my perspective or my perception, or for my thoughts on this, is that, you know, when you go to a bar or when you go to a club and you see those women that are on stage or in a cage or with the fishnet stockings with their ass cheeks spread apart and dancing on tables and behind the bar with the scantily clad clothing with their breast revealed, you might think, if you are a person who's conventional, traditional, religious, whatever the case may be, whatever you want to be called, whatever you want to classify as, you may think those are bad girls. Those are not good girls. Those are the women that we deem to be unfavorable, or those are the unbecoming women. Those are women that we don't want to be, because they might be classified as quote unquote hoes. I still don't know what hoe is, but meaning these are not the good ones. And I would say that's one, not true, and two, I would say because they are dressed in revealing clothing at nightclubs, showcasing their body in that way, is even more of a sign to me that they are completely not that way as far as who they are genuinely, meaning behind closed doors or outside of this party, outside of this club, outside of this bar. That woman isn't like that. Actually, she's probably, in my opinion, compensating for the fact that she's not like that, or she wasn't like that growing up. Meaning there's a lot of women who work at these nightclubs. There's a lot of women who work at these bars. There's a lot of women who you might see in the short leather skirt with their legs out and their stomach out and their breast out. And she probably has a long-term boyfriend. She's probably only had sex with 2 or 3 guys. She's probably only had sex with 2 or 3 guys who are also her boyfriends. So she's not out here hooking up, fucking guys off the random, humping guys in dark alleys, doing all of these illicit or promiscuous acts that you associate with women who dress this way or appear to be this way. Actually, I think it's the exact opposite. Not to say that women who don't go to these clubs are the ones who are out here doing illicit behavior. I still don't know what that means. I mean, the association is that women who look that way, who work in these environments, are the ones who are having sex with people's husbands, are the ones who are the homewreckers, are the ones who have no moral code or moral compass into their sexual agency, and they're just having sex and fucking on a whim. And it's really not true. It's really not true. Honestly, these were probably the girls who grew up who didn't feel like they were that attractive, even if they are conventionally or traditionally attractive. And what I mean by that is, like, if they were to look on television, if you were to look on magazines, if you were to Google what a beautiful woman is, they actually have more similarities to those women than a lot of other women don't. But you see these women at these parties and these clubs and these bars, and they actually have lower self-esteem than a lot, I mean many people would ever realize. And women are aware of this, but guys don't. Guys see these girls like, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. She looked like she could be in a magazine. She looks like she can be a supermodel. She probably is a runway model. She probably only has sex with celebrities. And it's like, whatever that means, no. Like, no, that's not the truth, man. That's not the truth. A lot of the times they're very self-conscious. A lot of the times they're more self-conscious than the around the way girl who you grew up with. And they're not more sexually active or sexually inclined, or they don't know these special, you know, tactics to like seduce you. A lot of times they work these jobs because growing up, they weren't deemed as beautiful, or they didn't feel themselves to be that attractive, and they didn't receive the attention from the opposite sex the way they wanted to. So at the ages of 22, 23, 24, 25, 20, 28, they are searching for that. They would use that because they weren't the pretty girl at 15. They weren't the it girl in high school. They weren't the it girl in university if they went to uni. Like, so you find this falsehood that these girls are supposed to be super open, super sexual. In the West, the average woman, and when they mean West, they mean white women, they think they're just like out there having all this sex, and it's like, no, dude. Like, no. Not for white women or black women or what they call as Western women. A lot of these girls go to parties and they go to clubs, and they're there for an emotional boost. They're there for a confidence boost. They're there to get attention, honestly, to confirm whatever inadequacies or insecurities they may have about their body image or their self-image, even if they're gorgeous. And I believe all women are gorgeous, but a lot of them don't think so about themselves. So they'll go to the bar to get free drinks, or to stun on the guys, to flex on the guys, to dance with you, but they know they're not giving you any pussy. They know that. They know that. They're there just to be seen and to have fun. Some girls are in there to have a completely good time, and I respect that. The girls who come there with their friends, they're there to dance, they're there to drink, they're there to smoke a little bit. They might be in the bathroom doing a little coke, they might be dropping a little MDMA. Hey, like, whatever the case may be, enjoy yourself, homegirl. But a lot of them are not. Like, a lot of them are there